My name is Christyna Conway, and I am a designer on the Global Creative Strategy team here at Pinterest. And this year, I was the designer behind Bloom the Homecoming. So when I was first introduced to Bloom this year, I spoke with co-president Alani, and she told me that the theme this year is the homecoming. And she was really passionate about this idea of home and all of the Black employees at Pinterest being able to come to a space that felt like home. And for me, that immediately lit a fire. I was like, this is such an incredible opportunity to produce such incredible creative. So with the name, The Homecoming, I started by just taking some notes on what home feels like to me and what coming home feels like to me. The action of coming home, the feeling of being at home, connecting with people at home. Like, what are all of those feelings, and how can those be reflected visually, right? And after I started writing things down, I immediately went to Pinterest, which is typically what I would do naturally in my creative process. And I started to try and pull imagery that was reflective of some of the words that were popping out in my head. Some of the images that felt warm, some of the images that felt like you could exude passion and joy through those visuals. And after that, I sort of organized some photography, some beautiful images of floral elements, and came to a color palette of oranges and reds that really spoke to the nature of warmth and passion. And then also maybe some greens that stumbled into the joyous feeling that we're also feeling when we, come home to a space like this. My creative journey really started when I started at the University of Florida as an architecture major. I studied architecture in a very traditional way, and it opened up a door to the multi-dimensional world of the creative space. I was introduced to a lot of different design fields, and I felt like I needed to make a decision about how I was going to pursue the rest of my career as a creative. This was a huge deal in architecture school because everyone was taking that natural path of becoming an architect at some point. But I was inspired by the field in a way that I wouldn't say the majority of my class was. I latched on to the idea of being able to inspire people through experiential designs and conceptualization all the way down to execution. And when I realized that there were so many other opportunities allowing me to use architecture as my foundation and allowing me to bloom into another sort of creative, I decided to do a little bit more research on what those opportunities could look like for myself. And I dabbled into UX design, graphic design, branding, and all sorts of things, and realized that you don't actually have to pick one area of design in order to be successful as a creative.